We're recording, we're rolling. So, top of 2919. This is Lord Mayhair. The chapter is Manjri Mafi. The year is 1950. The reader is Rolf Jackson.
Point 36. As long as the temporarily restricted B group plan will be functioning, the group companions of this new life plan will be relying on their I need my glasses, Sonny Bunny.
Yeah, you do. Um, yeah, I can't make it any bigger for you. Sorry on this particular app for reading it. So just until Rolf gets back, I'll repeat that. As long as the temporarily restricted B group plan will be functioning, that's point 36, the group companions of this new life plan will be relying on their Iman, in parentheses, faith, belief, to abide by the original Plan 1B fixed conditions. But if any new plan group companion deliberately and consistently insists on not abiding by the fixed restrictions that I have formulated, and if this breach in carrying out the restrictions is brought to my notice, then I shall order that companion to leave the group, and he will be considered as having discontinued himself from both the new and the old life. So, Rolf, I read point 36 for you. Go on to
Oh, I heard that. Thank you, J. Bobby.
J Baba.
Yeah. Then point 37. What does that actually mean? MESSRS.
I believe it's plural for monsieur.
Is it men and women or just men?
That
Monsieur.
that's probably just men. Monsieur is Mister in French.
Yours. Harjwan Lal, Kane, Kishan Singh, and Toddy Singh are permitted by me to associate with the new plan group to help them on one condition only, that they cannot contact or have correspondence with or meet the companions of Plan 1C or Plan 2 of the new life. 38.38. The companions of the new plan group are to take the help of Harjwan Lal, of Wasdale Kane, and Kishan Singh and Toddy Singh only if these four keep no contact with, have no correspondence with, nor meet the companions of Plan 1C or Plan 2 of the new life. Although companions of Plan 1C and Plan 2 cannot communicate with me, they should only send their saved amounts and New Life circulars to me addressed as Meher Baba, care of Nalavala, 36 Lighton Road, Dehradun, UP, unless otherwise instructed by me. Point 40. Point 40. If necessary, Duncan, on behalf of the new life, on behalf of the new plan group companions, can stay at Dehradun and work as a doctor. After deciding these points, Baba, in order to help in the formation of the new plan, sent the following telegram to Keki Desai in Delhi. Inform Harjwan Lal that the Rohtak Road building will be decided on 1st May definitely. Therefore, arrange accordingly with agent Sardarji. Inform Harjwan and Kane, Toddy Singh, Kishan Singh to be here on Sunday, 30th morning, to return to Delhi the same evening. After informing them, you come here immediately for 7 days. Baba. Baba concluded the proceedings, stating that from now on a meeting would be held twice a day until the end of April. Am I doing okay?
Awesome.
We all right, Marvin? Alan? Rosalie? Okay, I guess so. Manjri Mafi. The meeting ended at 10:30 that morning. Kumar was ordered to sell the Manjri Mafi property, and a message was sent to Rustam Hanasosia that he was to lead the new life at his home in Ratlam. Kishan Singh, Harjwan Lal, Toddy Singh, and Wasdeo Kang were called to attend a meeting between Baba and the men companions held at noon on Sunday, 30th April 1950 at Manjri Mafi. A telegram was received from Elizabeth, whereupon Baba commented, I will not go to the West. I will not go to the West in July 1950, but I will definitely go by the end of July 1951. Erich explained to the men from Delhi about the new plan, and they all promised without hesitation to give their full cooperation. Baba emphasized that they were to render all possible help, except in the way of money, food, or clothing. Quote, you should not spend a pie out of your own pockets for the companions of the new plan, Baba emphasized. Kumar promised to pay part of the proceeds of the sale of the Manjri Mafi property, which was rupees 7,000 by the end of July. Baba wanted the money immediately, then and there, that day. Consequently, Harjwan Lal consented to lend the amount to Baba on condition that Kumar repay him by the end of July. Out of this, rupees 7,000, rupees 5,000 was paid to Toddy Singh in advance for the business. According to the new plan, Harjwan Lal was paid rupees 4,340 as rent for the building on the Rohtak Road in Delhi. Baba met with Kishan Singh, Harjwan Lal, Toddy Singh, and Wasdeo Kang for a while and stated, somehow or the other, you men have come in my contact in the new life as far as helping the new plan group is concerned. But do not try to see me in Delhi unless I call you. You are free to meet the new plan companions as often as you like. From today, you four have been taken in the new life. The 4 men were happy with the meeting, and in the afternoon they returned to Delhi. All right, that'll be enough for me. Thank you.
Thanks, Ralph. Marvin, you ready to read? Unmute first.
Eugene, can you mute my dad?
Oh, sure. Thanks. Marvin, you need to unmute still.
In the darkness on the morning of Monday, 1st May 1950, the companions awoke as usual at 4 o'clock. By 5, they were ready for the day's auspicious events, attired in white kaftanis and green turbans. Baba came to their quarters at 6:30, wearing his white kaftani. Amidst pin-drop silence, Nilu and Kaka solemnly wrapped a green turban around Baba's head. Then, as dawn was breaking, Baba set out to beg with the companions. Walking 2 miles in absolute silence, they came to the dry, sandy riverbed of the Rispana River, where Keki and Freni Nalavala, Burjor, and Shirut Chacha, Kumar and his mother, Mataji, were waiting for them. Freni, Sheru, and Mataji gave food to Baba in Bhiksha, after which Baba immediately returned to Mandri Mafi. On the way, when people bowed down to him in salutation, Baba returned their greeting in like manner. Baba's mood was grave, and he had not communicated a word that morning. When they returned, he informed them, "This is our last act of begging under Plan 3. At 5 o'clock this evening, you will be ordered to join the new plan group. Plan 3 will then be dissolved." Baba distributed the food received in begging among the companions. At 5 p.m., the 7 Plan 3 companions, Alaba, Baidul, Erich, Murli, Nilu, Pendu, and Vishnu, joined the companions of Plan 1B, Don, Kaka, and Gustaji. This now formed the new plan group. Sadashiv Patil, who was still in Pune, was included in this group. Manek Mehta in Bombay was sent a telegram informing him to join Plan 1C from May 1st, 1951, but he did not come. On Wednesday, 10th May 1950, the companions left Mandri Mafi for Delhi to start a ghee business. Thus, during the stay at Mandri Mafi, a new plan came into effect for aspirants of the world to follow. Many years later, due to Kumar's efforts, the name of Mandri Mafi village was officially changed to Meher Mafi, permanently commemorating Baba's stay there during the new life. For generations to come, Meher Mafi will fill the ears of all seekers with the hymn of the new life plans, hearing which not only will they be inspired to enter the path, but they will attain the life of spirituality which leads to it. Age reminisced about the other places Baba had resided since the beginning of the new life. Belgaum will always sing the song of the new life. Benares will inspire pilgrims to a life of begging, dependent solely on God. Sarnath will express the, quote, naked life in Langoti. The journey from Sarnath to Jaunpur will remind seekers of the colorful life of a gypsy. And the endless bowing down to the holy men in Hardwar and Rishikesh represents the role of the sincere devotee. Remembrance of these places and the 3 phases of the new life will forever inspire humanity to abandon their worldly life and pursue the new life of helplessness and hopelessness before God. Upon arriving in Delhi on 10 May 1950, the men companions stayed at Keki Desai's house. Baba, with Baidul and Vishnu, and the 4 women, moved from Mandri Mafi to Dehradun. Baba, with the women, stayed in Don's abandoned dispensary on the 29 Lighton Road, and Keki and the two men stayed in Bujur Chacha's house at 19 Lighton Road. In Delhi, the companions began their ghee business on the 12th. Appropriately, they named the enterprise the Navjivan, New Life, Ghee Company. Since Kaka was the eldest, he performed the opening ceremony, which was simply being the first to turn the handle of the charan, the big wooden drum. Toddy Singh had brought the required utensils and containers from Aligarh, where he had a factory. He also arranged for the supply of cream from which the companions prepared ghee. Most of the men helped in the work except Aloba, who cooked the meals for the companions, and Nilu, who assisted him by grinding the masala, the spices. Baba had also exempted Kaikobad and Gustaji because of their age. Kaikobad would sit in a separate room and repeat Baba's name 100,000 times a day, as he had done in Dehradun. Gustaji would collect anything thrown away that he still thought useful. It was summertime and extremely hot in Delhi. The companions sat near a stove to boil the cream and turn it into ghee. Working in these conditions, while withstanding the outside heat, was almost intolerable. They had been staying in Madri Mafi when it was bitter cold. Now, when the weather there was at its most salubrious, they were in Delhi, working next to hot stoves and sweating uncomfortably in the scorching month of May. Such was the new life. Ghee is considered the finest cooking oil in India and is in great demand. So at first, the idea of manufacturing a superb product seemed like a feasible business venture. All the work had to be done by themselves, stirring the cream into ghee, washing and cleaning the large cooking vessels, preparing labels, tinning the oil, and selling it. Despite all their efforts, instead of being a success, the business was a total failure. The problem was that their ghee was simply too good. It was of the purest quality and consequently the most expensive in the market. Not only could they not get the desired price, they could not even recoup the cost spent to manufacture it. The merchants did not care about purity. They were selling adulterated varieties at reduced rates. Since the companions could not be dishonest, they lost money. Even so, after the first tin was produced on 16 May, they failed to get the fair asking price after all their hard labor. They did not stoop to the level of their competitors, but they maintained their quality. While the companions had their troubles in Delhi, Baba also had his in Dehradun. His eyes discharged a sticky substance and became painfully swollen at the same time, he had the continual sensation of something gritty in his eyes. Goher applied penicillin or silver nitrate ointment, but Baba got an allergic reaction to this, which made it worse. Goher did her best to treat him, but Baba received little relief. An ophthalmologist from Dehradun named Baldev Singh Ratki was called. Dr. Ratki treated the condition adequately, and Baba soon felt better. However, the relief was only temporary. During Baba's stay in Dehradun, the Nalavala family had more chance to enjoy his company. They lived next door and had the good fortune of seeing Baba practically every day. Baba would at times visit their home. Baba would advise them about their personal and household affairs, and the whole family became devoted to him. Baba once told Keki Nalavala to prepare 2 earthenware stoves. It was something novel for Keki, but he made them, and Baba was pleased with his efforts. On another occasion, Keki and Franny went to the market, leaving their daughter, Marok, at home alone. After a while, Baba heard her crying. He sent Goher to bring Marok to him. When Keki and Franny returned, Baba sent for them and corrected them, explaining about the duty of parents to their children. From his spiritual summit, Meher Baba became one with them and attracted them to him by taking interest in their everyday practical matters, thus making their hearts even more deeply receptive to his love. The same was the case with Bujar Chacha's and Rugna's Kumar's families. Ultra Mystery likewise came close to Baba in Dehradun. Baba highly enjoyed Ultra's jokes, wisecracks, and humorous company, and he became, like Daki, one of Baba's court jesters. On Monday, 22nd May 1950, a week after the first tin of ghee was produced, and Baba found out that no buyers were forthcoming, he called Keki Desai to Dehradun. The next morning, Baba went to Delhi with Desai and Baidul to evaluate matters for himself. They arrived that afternoon. Baba met with the companions at Keki Desai's residence, where they voiced their business difficulties to him. It was evident that the ghee business idea was a failing proposition. In the evening, Baba slept at Wasdeo Kane's house, but did not allow Mrs. Kane or anyone else there to see him. It was stifling hot, but as usual, Baba had all the windows, shutters, and curtains closed in his room and did not want the fan turned on either. The next day, Baba returned to Desai's and met with Kishan Singh, Harjiwan Lal, Tati Singh, and the companions. Since the building which was to house Baba and the women in Delhi on Rohtak Road was not ready, Baba expressed his desire to relocate somewhere else. And since the companions of the temporarily restricted B group had always to be with him, they would naturally have to close down their ghee business. Baba informed them, as companions of the original Plan 1B group, you must undergo the labor phase. He therefore proposed two methods of carrying out this phase, directing them to choose one or other, either one. Method 1. The companion should render lifelong service to Baba through the four women, Mera, Mani, Meru, and Goher, who had been and will be with Baba throughout the new life, and to obey Baba as a servant obeys his master or employer. Baba can and will give orders of any kind, and all those who accept this proposal will be Baba's lifelong servants and must therefore obey him as their master or employer. Since a master may sometimes forgive the shortcomings of his servants, Baba may also forgive the drawbacks, the shortcomings of those companions who accept this method of lifelong service to him, which, according to Baba, will not compromise his oath. Baba, as master or employer, can and will give all kinds of orders to those companions who become his lifelong servants. He may order them to do farm work, to take up jobs, to work as coolies, in short, to do anything. The servant companions should expect nothing in return from Baba. There will be no reward and no hope of reward. Whatever happens, every companion who accepts this method of carrying out the labor phase will be personally responsible for the consequences, whatever they might turn out to be. The companions may get food from Baba through the four ladies' money, and this food may or may not be enough, and it may be regularly or irregularly given. This method of carrying out the labor phase will create many hardships, such as lack of food, little sleep, and work of any kind and every kind. At the same time, however, circumstances may automatically arise in which there will be little or no work and plenty of food and rest. In short, the companions will serve Baba through the four women, and Baba may arrange to feed them by using the funds which are at the disposal of these four ladies. Those companions who decide to carry out the labor phase as lifelong servants of Baba must be prepared to withstand all kinds of hardships. Not only must they obey Baba as servants obey their master, but they must also abide by the fixed conditions of Plan 1B. If Baba should at any time feel dissatisfied with the work and behavior of any servant companion, he may dismiss him. Any servant companion who is dismissed will still be in the new life and also in Plan 1B, but he will become independent and will be free to do what he likes and go where he likes, although he must always abide by the fixed conditions of Plan 1B. He must then earn his own living, and Baba will not help him to make a fresh start by giving him money. Method 2. The alternative method of carrying out the labor phase is to remain individually and independently in Plan 1B, abiding by its fixed conditions. Any companion who chooses this plan will be given a certain amount of money by Baba to start with, so that he will be able to work out his independent labor phase in the best way possible. All 10 companions of the TRB, the Temporarily Restricted Baba Group Plan, unanimously accepted Baba's first method and agreed to do the labor phase as Baba's lifelong servants. Kaikobad, who was in the new life but not previously included in any plan, also agreed to be a lifelong servant. Therefore, as a result of this unanimous decision, after just 10 days in the ghee business, the companions immediately shut down their factory. The loan of rupees 16,000 was to be returned to Baba. This was done by handing over their cash balance of rupees 14,570. The deficit of rupees 1,430 was made up by the 4 women. After the meeting, Baba expressed his desire to go must hunting. Along with Erich, Harjiwan, Toddy Singh, Kane, and Kishan Singh, he left for the town of Okla. Kishan had a high fever, and it was difficult for him to keep up, but he exerted himself.
Thanks, Marv.
Okay, yes, I'll pass the reading. Thank you.
Thanks, Jay Baba. Meher, could you unmute and continue?
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Reaching Okla, Baba sat by the side of a river and asked the group to tell him jokes and funny stories. Seeing some fishermen, Baba remarked, all of Jesus' early followers were fishermen. Later on,
Spotify की
he
break हो.
netted them in his own net. Kishan cracked.
Oh, we lost Meher. Kishan cracked, but here we have a master who does not reel us into his net, but is throwing us out, meaning Baba's followers were being denied his contact during the new life. To this, Baba answered simply, "But I am not Jesus." Returning to Delhi, Baba spent the night of 24 May at Kishan Singh's, 45 Pandara Road. And we have a side note here. Coincidentally, 2 years to the day Baba visited Okla in India, 24 May, he was to suffer in an automobile accident in America, in Oklahoma. The next day was spent at Keki Desai's, and that night Baba slept at Kane's house. Baba again said he would not meet any of Kane's family. In parentheses, all of Kane's in-laws resided at his house. But when Prabha Kane's grandmother persisted, Baba relented and permitted them darshan the next morning. That morning, Friday, 26 May 1950, before leaving for Dehradun, the Kanes suggested Baba visit the Talkatora Garden, a park near their home, in front of the President of India's residence. Baba agreed and went with Erich, Was, Deo, and Prabha Kane. On the way, Kane suddenly remembered that at that time of year, at the height of summer, there would be little worth seeing there. He was shocked when they entered the park and saw a profusion of blossoming trees with light purple flowers, such that he had never seen before. Baba walked at a very quick pace around the place for a while, even jumping over a small ditch, enjoying the greenery. Baba left Dehradun in Harjiwan Lal's car, accompanied by Keki Desai, Baidul, and Kaka. On the way, they stayed in Meerut for a few hours. Baba was keen to contact the High Must, Meherban Baba, the fifth plane charge man of the city, whom he had worked with 4 years before. As would happen at times, on this occasion, the Must played hide and seek with Baba. Much to his regret, Baba finally gave up the chase and left without contacting him. They spent the night in Muzaffarnagar Dak Bungalow and reached Dehradun on the next evening, after more must work along the way. The same day, 27 May, Erich was sent south to Maharashtra to look at bungalows to rent. To move to Mahabaleshwar was Baba's first choice, followed by Satara, Aurangabad, or Hyderabad. Jalkarawala, one of the arrangement wallas, was also notified to look for accommodations at Buldana or at any other place he thought suitable, except Nagpur. Although the ghee company had now closed its doors for business, the Navjivan companion workers continued to reside in the building in Delhi, since there was no other place for them to live. Erich returned to Dehradun after a few days and informed Baba that he had rented Muta's bungalow in Satara for Baba and the women, and the Kalyani barracks for the men companions. Preparations in Delhi and Dehradun were immediately begun to move to Satara. After returning from Delhi, Baba again fell very ill, developing a severe case of mumps. This throat infection complicated matters with his continued eye pain. On 3 June 1950, Dawn and Neelu were called to Dehradun from Delhi for 5 days to treat him. Rosalie, could you unmute and read?
You know, I'm reading from my book because for some reason I had the script and then it went away.
Yeah, go ahead, read from your book. That works good.
Okay, where are we? Baba arrived in Satara via Kalyan by public bus on June 16, 1950, my birthday. And the companions arrived 2 days later from Delhi. Baba and the women moved into Muta's bungalow and the companions to the Kalyani barracks. Before they had even unpacked their bags, a disturbance took place. The local residents voiced a loud complaint when they saw the men, as they thought themselves more respectable than this strange-looking crew. They complained to the landlord that they did not want military type soldiers living near their families. The owner duly informed the men. Eric explained everything to the owner, who accepted what he said. But after talking it over among themselves, the men felt it would be better to move elsewhere, even though they were tired from their long journey. Obtaining Baba's permission, and after spending 4 hours looking for another residence, Eric was able to rent 76 Burke's bungalow. And in the middle of the night at 2 a.m., the men moved there.
Okay. Can you just hang on just a second, because the online version had has a side note here,
Okay.
which says 2 years later, Ramju and his family were to occupy Kalyani Barracks from 1 April 1952, after Baba left Satara for the West. And there was also in the online version a paragraph before the paragraph you just read, and a picture. There's a picture of Baba in Mahabaleshwar, October 1950, looking directly at the camera with his head turned. Kind of an intense look. Wow. So that paragraph that's in the online version is on Wednesday, 14 June 1950. Having accomplished significant work in Manjri Mafi, Baba with the 4 women left Dehradun for Kalyan, along with Erich Baidul, Vishnu, and Gustaji. At the train station, Elcha and the Nalavala, Burjor, and Kumar families were present to bid them farewell. Kumar had never in his life wept at anyone's departure, but now he shed tears profusely. Baba and his companions boarded the train and left those in Dehradun with their tears. Such tears are not easily wept. They are the result of austerities and penance done for ages. They act as a cleansing agent to wipe out the deep-seated impressions of the mind. Beautiful. So can you continue now, Rosalie,
Yeah,
from your...
well, they're at Berkey's bungalow. In the middle of the night at 2 a.m., the men moved there. Oliver, suffering ill health, asked Baba to transfer him from Plan 1B to an independent life. Baba consented, and after a day or so, Oliver left Satara for Bombay. In Baba's absence, Nariman had kept Madho as caretaker at Marazat. Meru, Eric's sister and the wife of Savak Damanya, visited the property each week from Amanagar to keep it clean. Madho was a good caretaker, but because he had to leave on some urgent personal matter, Padre relocated there to watch over Marazat. On June 23rd, Adi received this message from Baba, which he was to issue as a circular to a few selected individuals. From the 16th of October, 1949 until now, the New Life developments have been many, but the New Life has not been led by me and by those with me as I wanted. Although conditions were tried 100% to be followed, now a stage has arrived when I can absolutely, freely, and satisfactorily start the new life as I want. and those of the lifelong servant companions who will be able to stay with me will enjoy and suffer the new life according to my picture. This is my honest feeling. Although I do not and cannot promise anything, I feel for all concerned. As for the lifelong servant companions, to be able to stay with me, they will have to obey me 100%, blindly, without any argument. Until July 16th, 1950, I will keep myself free from all conditions. To think that after some time I shall return to the old life will be a vain thought for anyone. I have decided and am firm in my decision that nothing can take me back to my old life. I will, until the very end, be leading my new life. And those who have any dakshara impression that I shall return to the old life must absolutely dismiss that dakara. Previously, on July 14th, Baba had issued another statement indicating, instead of July 16th, I will keep myself free until July 25th, 1950, on which date I shall start my 3 phases of new life, and also my work with must, mad, and poor. In 1949, Baba had sent Dr. Daulat Singh home to Bangalore from Belgaum with certain instructions. Accordingly, he was to live only on food obtained by begging for a fixed period. Daulat Singh was from a very respectable family, and his relatives were disgusted with the idea of someone like himself, an educated doctor, begging. Society ridiculed him and looked with disapproval at his peculiar behavior. But Daulat Singh was uniquely obedient, the type of man who would give up his life to keep his word. Finally, circumstances being so intolerable, he left his home in Bangalore to wander and beg for his sustenance in various places. Unknowingly, the beggar at last reached the doorsteps of the only real giver. He had no idea that Baba was in Satara, but one day he happened to end up wandering there, begging right near Baba's bungalow. Erich was keeping watch outside. Suddenly, Baba asked him to find out who was sitting on the culvert. As Erich neared the beggar, he could not believe his eyes. Daulat Singh was equally astonished to see Erich. Is Baba here? Can I come to Baba's door to beg? He pleaded. Erich went to inform Baba. Calling Daulat Singh, Baba heard his woeful story and gave him some food. Afterward, Baba praised his courage. I am extremely pleased with your obedience. You are truly living the new life and are an example to others. Although away from me, you are close to me. I am very pleased with you. I promise one day I will visit your house. Now that the new life had developed into 3 plans, Baba freed Daulat Singh from begging for his food and included him in Plan 1B to live and work independently as a physician. Soon after, with tears in his eyes, Daulat Singh left for home. He was an amazing example of living the new life apart from Baba. There's a footnote. Do you have the footnote?
We don't have a footnote on the online version, no.
Okay, I'll just go on. But in this man's begging sack was carried a treasure, which would one day transform his beggarly existence into the true essence of life, life eternal. Daulat Singh held fast to Baba's feet until the last. Meanwhile, Rano, Kitty, Khorshid, Sunamasi were staying at Meherji's in Bombay. Because of their obedience to Baba, they too had to pass through various rough new life experiences. Rano and Kitty had taken teaching jobs at the Queen Mary High School. They were daily anticipating Baba's call, as he had promised to send for them. At last, on July 7th, 1950, he called them to Satara. They arrived at 9:30 that evening and were permitted to stay for 1 month.
Let me just read a little paragraph that was before the one you just finished. The women of the old life were at the various places they had been ordered to stay. Walu had been living at Bindra House in Pune, but the physical separation from Baba deeply disturbed her. After 5 months in Pune, on 18 March 1950, Papa brought her to Ahmednagar, where Padri and Adi Sr. tried to persuade her to stay at Akbar Press. She refused and returned to her home in Arangown. Thanks, Rosalie. Go ahead.
A mare was bought for the women in Satara, which Baba named Begum, meaning lady. But she followed the women so much, she might as well have been called Mary's little lamb. She had the run of the house and would even enter their rooms.
Oh, cool.
And would not leave them alone. It was marvelous how she behaved, more like a pet dog than a horse. Baba would pat her and feed her carrots. Begum would frequently go to Baba, and unless she was petted, she would not leave. Baba enjoyed her antics and purposely delayed stroking her. Begum quietly stood by, and only after Baba's attention was given would the little horse happily trot off. During this period, Satara became the headquarters of the new life. Baba had the Mast Ali Shah brought from Ahmednagar to Satara with Adi Sr. on Sunday, July 9th. He began working with the Mast alone each day for 3 hours. A Muslim boy who had a good voice and knew Qawwalis was hired to sing daily before Baba and the companions. He was taught the song of the new life and certain ghazals. As instructed, other Mast and Mad were gathered and brought to Satara. Baidul, Erich, Pendu, Gustaji, and Merli cared for them. Settling in Satara, Baba once again delved into his past work. He remained occupied with the Must and Mad throughout the days, except twice he visited Pune. A little more than a week after Baba settled in Satara, the Korean War broke out. Baba's intense must work at this time again had some connection with the war and world affairs. Baba's eyes continued to bother him. The strain of the work done at the Kumbh Mela had apparently aggravated the infection. There was no permanent improvement from the treatment given in Dehradun. One day, Erich took him to a physician in Satara who examined Baba and noticed tiny crystals which had formed in his eyes. After these crystals were removed, Baba's eyes gradually improved. It was ironic that highly qualified specialists had been unable to do anything for Baba, whereas this humble doctor in the obscure town of Satara cured him. Sadashiv Patel had promised Baba 40,000 rupees from the sale proceeds of his 2 Pune houses. On the strength of this, Baba had borrowed 40,000 rupees from Nariman and Meherji, but Sadashiv could not fulfill his promise. So to pay off the loan on July 21st, Baba decided to send Duncan to England to collect an equivalent sum. Baba issued a circular to his old life, Western disciples, explaining the situation. He ended by stating, "When this sum is collected, the last and final burden of my old life will have been removed, and there will be no more calls for help of this kind from either East or West. My coming to the West in July 1951 is definite, and Elizabeth and Norina have undertaken to arrange this. Thus, one Boja fund concerning the burden of money for Dr. Ghani was collected from Baba lovers in the East, and another sum from those in the West. As desired by Baba, on the morning of Tuesday, July 25th, 1950, the servant companions bathed and were ready by 5 o'clock. Although they had to rise at 4 daily, a bath was not obligatory. But July 25th was a special day. Erich and Pendu had washed and cleaned the hall of Burke's bungalow the night before, and all now awaited Baba's arrival. Baba came at 6:45 from Muta's bungalow, and walking straight inside, he took his seat on a chair in the hall. The servant companions followed, and the doors and windows were tightly shut. Only Baba's brother Jal, who had been called from Pune, was allowed to watch and listen to the proceedings through a window from outside the hall. Baba looked serious and warned the companions, "So far, I have not learned to completely control my anger and sense of annoyance. So do not provoke me in any manner and thus become the indirect cause of my lost mood. I will try to keep my mood and, as far as possible, overlook and forgive your faults, minor mistakes and shortcomings. But I warn you, I will definitely remove the cause of my anger and irritation if it persists in annoying me. So, to avoid such a situation, just do as I say, and everything will go smoothly and all will be well and good. Jonathan then read out the following prayer, which Baba had dictated to him the day before. On this, the most eventful day of my new life, I send salutations to all my old life men and women disciples and devotees, including the no-wallas and arrangement wallas, and to all my new life companions. I ask the most merciful God to forgive us all our shortcomings, failures, and weaknesses, to help the old life disciples and devotees to keep firm in their faith and their love and their understanding of God and his divine manifestations, to give courage to the arrangement wallas to fulfill their responsibilities 100%, and to give strength to the new life companions to abide by truth, and the following of the new life conditions honestly and faithfully.
Thank you, Rosalie. Jill Davis, are you reading today? Unmute first if you are. Okay. Baba offered his salutations to the companions and ordered them to go outside for 10 minutes and not to look in the hall through any gap or cracks in the door. Seated alone for 10 minutes, Baba then clapped, and the men re-entered the hall. Baba informed them that he had again reconfirmed his original oath before God, taken at the beginning of the new life. Baba then pressed his head on the feet of every servant companion. After that, on Baba's sign, Nilu and Vishnu read the Dasavatar, in parentheses, 10 incarnations. Kaikobad, Erich, Pendu, and Kaka read a Zoroastrian prayer. Baidul, an Islamic prayer, and Dawn, a Christian prayer. We have a side note here that reads, the prayers were not dictated by Baba, but were an amalgamation of respective religious sentiments strung together by the mandali to form a prayer. Baba next asked Dawn and Nilu to loudly recite the English translation of the song Celestial from the Gita, which they did for 1 hour. Thereafter, the young Kawal sang the song of the new life and the new life prayers. At 10 o'clock, Baba fed the musts and then served food to the companions with his own hands. At 2 in the afternoon, he began his work with the musts, mad and poor, gathered from different villages and towns surrounding Satara. He clipped their hair and gave them a hot bath, using a lot of soap. The men assisted Baba, but as to the actual cutting of hair and scrubbing their bodies, only Baba attended to this. He dressed them in new shirts and pants and gave each new bedding, 1 mat, 1 mattress, and 2 blankets. They were all accommodated in a separate room of the bungalow under the care of the companions. Baba did not eat the whole day. At 9 o'clock the next morning, dressed in a long white kafni, he walked to the dak bungalow in Satara to beg for food from a Muslim Khan Sama, a butler named Hussein. I see, Jill, you're unmuted. Are you ready to read?
Oh,
Or was
yeah,
that accidental?
accidental.
Okay, no problem. So, beg food from a Muslim Khansama butler named Hussein. Baba did justice to the begged food and with apparent pleasure. On the 27th, he begged food at two homes, one of a Hindu and another of a Muslim. On the 30th, he fasted on water for 48 hours and went out for bhiksha again on 1 August, even though he was suffering from gastritis. For the purpose of the Bhuja Fund, Don left Satara on the 26th and took a flight to London from Bombay on the 5th of August. And here's a side note. Don flew to America on 26 August 1950. He visited New York, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Detroit, and Myrtle Beach before returning to India via London at the end of September. Having given up the gypsy life on 28 July 1950, the New Life caravan arrived in Ahmednagar from Dehradun. Padri towed it from Pune. The New Life caravan, along with the blue bus, was a significant vehicle of Baba's travels during this Advent, and they are preserved at Merazad. Much of the companions' luggage had come in the New Life caravan, and Adi delivered it to Satara on 29 July. After a month in Satara, Rano and Kitty were sent back to Bombay on 8 August. By the middle of August 1950, Baba's strenuous work with the musts in Satara affected his health. It was advised that he have a short rest, to which Baba consented. But, as Age pointed out, how could the avatar ever rest? With every breath, his work on this plane was continuous, and it lasted till the end, till his final breath. Nevertheless, Papa and Marwan Jesawala, with Adi Sr.'s help, arranged a bungalow in Pune on Prabhat Road. It belonged to a Mr. Sugandhi, and Baba went there with Mera, Mani, Meru, and Goher on Monday morning, 21 August 1950. Erich drove them in Meherji's car. 4 more of the men companions came separately. Meals were supplied from Bindra House, but Baba met no one from Pune. A week passed quietly. Meherji and Nariman offered accommodations for Baba in the Mahim area of Bombay, and Baba and the men and women companions moved there on 28 August. Homa Dadachanji daily brought food to Baba's place, but Baba would not see him. Every day, the Sardar, meaning chief of musts, and that was Baidul.
So I'm trying to help you see if I can find the place. I don't know if you found the place yet.
Okay.
Did you find anything? Did you talk?
I need to go to Sebastopol and look. That's the next idea I have.
Yeah,
So every day the Sardar, the chief of the musts, meaning Baidul, would hunt for musts in the streets of Bombay. Sometimes Baba would accompany him for contacts. Other times, Baidul brought a few to the residence in Mahim, where Baba worked with them. One day, with Baidul, Nariman, and Mayurji, Baba was on his way by car for a must contact. Homa was driving, but was told not to look at Baba. Suddenly, Homa got a terrible migraine, and again Baba was in and after Baba was informed, it was decided to change drivers. Nariman suggested his brother-in-law, Jimmy Mistry, and Baba agreed. Stopping the car at Jimmy's apartment in Dadar, Homa went in to call him. Jimmy was shaving at the time, but on hearing the news, he was so excited that he ran out of the house and got in the car half-shaved, his face still lathered. Baba indicated to Jimmy, through Nariman, to drive the car as he was. It was an incident that much amused Baba. Jimmy's wife, Rhoda, that's Arnavaz's younger sister, was already called a Mastani, and now Jimmy, too, had turned must-like. Baba was joking in this vein with Mayurji and Nariman, and Jimmy wished that Baba would speak to him also, but Baba did not. I think I have time for another page. Nevertheless, he was permitted to be Baba's driver that day, a rare privilege. Baba was on his way to recontact the fifth plane must, Mungsaji Maharaj, whom he had worked with a year before. The Hindu saint lived on the second floor of an apartment building. The minute Baba reached the place, Sam Karawala was seen walking down the stairs. He saw Baba, but lowered his head without looking at him. Baba also turned his face away. As soon as Sam had reached the pavement, Baba ascended the stairs. When Sam cast a fleeting glance at him, Baba caught him looking and shook his head disapprovingly. Sam immediately walked away. Embarrassed, Jimmy was relieved to see Sam leave, as he did not want to be made a laughing stock with soap all over his face. Despite this incident, the contact with Mungsaji Maharaj was satisfactory. Naja had accompanied the women to Bombay and was staying at Naoroji Dadachanji's place to help cook Baba's and the others' food, which Homa would then deliver to Mahim. Naja caught a cold, and someone advised her to take a large quantity of vitamin C. By mistake, she grabbed a mislabeled bottle and took an overdose of aspirin. She suffered a severe reaction. Her eyeballs turned white, and she fell unconscious. No one knew what was wrong with her, as Arnavaz, Nargis, and Rhoda were under the impression that she had taken the vitamins. When Baba was informed, he sent Goher, who immediately diagnosed it as a drug overdose. Goher treated her, and by Baba's grace, Naja recovered. During this period, the producer, Gabriel Pascal, who had first met Baba in Switzerland in 1934, had come to India for a week to pursue his idea of making a film on the life of Mahatma Gandhi. He was also interested in producing a film about Meher Baba's life, now that earlier plans for Baba's own film ideas had been dropped. Adi Sr. communicated with him, but Pascal wanted to meet Baba personally. Pascal was informed of the new life instructions, and he duly promised not to broach the subject of films in Baba's presence. Baba met Pascal at Ashiana at 7:30 a.m. on Tuesday, 12 September 1950. Baba lovingly told him, "You are my phoenix. You have been with me for several incarnations. I will help you to fulfill my mission in the West. Your career will soar higher than ever before." So we'll stop here at page 2934. Continue next week with 2935. Let me stop the recording.